All right, welcome. Welcome to this free introductory webinar to the Your Coaching Matters Book Club presentation of The Energy of Money. And we are starting a little late. I want to thank everyone for their patience, and I'm actually going to use what happened to our technology as we get into the call as an example of what happens in what we call physical reality and the importance of holding that lightly. So thank you so much for being on the call. And this call is being recorded. So if you registered but you were not able to be present with us, then you will be getting a recording of this. We probably will not have a lot of time for interaction on this call. I have a lot of material that I want to cover. It is an introductory call, but I also want you to actually get some information out of this call. I don't want this just to be an infomercial for the 6-week webinar. I want you to actually learn something from this. So I'm going to be moving through some material pretty quickly. So thank you so much for being on the call with us. So I was first introduced to this work. The book is called The Energy of Money. It's written by my dear friend, Dr. Maria Nemeth. And I was introduced to it back in 2003. And it was one of those works that I just immediately resonated with. Because it's, as we say in the promo, it's not just about money. It's about energy and how to live our lives with a sense of ease, with a sense of gratitude, and not be going through life struggling every time we want to create something in our lives. So at the time I thought, well, you know, I don't really have any issues around money, as I chuckle now as I look at that. But I really resonate with this work and with this woman. So as Maria observes, money can be a source of great joy and creativity, or it can bring frustration and misery depending on our relationship with it. So what the energy of money did for me as I got more and more into it was reveal that of course I had stuff around money. I don't know of anyone on the planet who doesn't have some stuff around money. And what it surfaced was all those doubts and fears and hopes and expectations, as Marie observes in the book, that we all have around money. And it allowed me to surface those and look at what beliefs around money supported me and what beliefs around money didn't support me. Now, I have to admit, given my initial observation that I didn't have any issues around money, that this came as a little bit of a shock to me. If you look at my little mini bio there, you know, by any measure, I'm a successful person. I'm a successful, you know, speaker, coach, minister, entrepreneur. I work with many organizations, most of them not-for-profit organizations and individuals, and I help them become more successful, right? To live lives that are enlivening and by anyone's definition, successful and productive and profitable. So it came as a little bit of a shock to me that I had stuff around money. And I saw that many of those issues, many of those beliefs were really holding me back in other areas of my life. So it's important, and this is part of the work that we do in the course, is to really be willing to surface those beliefs and to look at what isn't serving us. So let's look quickly at some of our taboos around money. What would we rather talk about than money, right? You know, I mean, in my conversations, even with my closest girlfriends, you know, we'd rather talk about sex or politics or shoot, even our bathroom habits than talk about money, right? So we need to look at that in our lives. I'm having a little background noise there. Okay, there we go. So part of what this work does, part of what the energy of money does, is it helps us to surface what is our discomfort around this. What is it about the energy of money that we're so uncomfortable with? You know, we've all been at those dinner parties or those family gatherings where, you know, someone brings up money or a child has the audacity to ask someone what they earn, and there's just this stunned silence in the room, right? Oh, we don't talk about money. Well, why? what is it about the energy of money that makes it so uncomfortable for us? So Maria observes that money is an uncomfortable subject for most of us. Many people would rather talk about their sex lives than about their bank balance. We love money and we hate it. We can't live with it and we can't live without it. Money can be a source of great joy and creativity, or it can bring frustration and misery depending on our relationship with it. And we bring all these doubts and fears, hopes and expectations with us every time we deal with money, not just when we visit a financial planner or a loan officer, but in every area of our lives. So we ask the question in this work. I'm seeing someone saying, but Andy, nope, I like money. I like it, right? So good. So even for those of us who say, yeah, we like money and we love money, one of the things we're going to be looking at briefly today and then even more extensively in the class is, do we bring that energy to that love of money to all the energies in our life? All right. And so we ask the question of everyone participating in this work, are you willing for money to be more of a sense of joy, right? To be less of a sense of stress.
There's a file in there. What's that the file? So I bring that up.
Oh, there we go. So we're going to be looking at a willingness to shift our relationship with money. And we begin that by looking at one of our definitions that we work extensively with in the course. And this is by Joseph Campbell. Joseph Campbell observed, money is congealed energy, and releasing it releases life's possibilities, right? Money is congealed energy. So when we say in the promo for this, that this is not just about money, this is what we're talking about. We start by looking at the energy of money because money has energy that we can actually touch. We can hold it, we can spend it, we can save it, we can waste it, right? We can invest it, but it's energy that we can actually touch. So we look at different ways that how can we uncongeal this energy of money? How can we make it more fluid? How can we release that energy in our lives? Some of the techniques we look at are, when we find ourselves lacking in any area of energy, including the energy of money, one of the ways, and this is the paradox of this work, one of the ways to move through that stuckness, we might call it, is to give, right? There are many teachers who believe wherever we feel lacking in our lives, that's where we need to give, okay? Same goes for money. So we practice uncongealing the energy of money. But we give, we become very precise. We look at where we're leaking or wasting money. And then, and this is where the fun begins, then we kick it up a notch and we see that money is just the first form of energy that we work with, and that we are literally swimming in energy. Interestingly, this used to be thought of as kind of a woo-woo, oh yeah, all those energy people. Well, guess what? Science is now catching up with the woo-woo. And it turns out that we really are energy, right? And we swim in energy. And so this work helps us to navigate in that which we are swimming, right? It's like that old story about the two fish that are swimming along in the ocean, and someone says to the fish, how's the water? And the fish say, what's water? Right? They don't know what water is because they swim in it. To them, water is what is, right? Well, we are literally swimming in energy and we're not aware of it because we're in it. The way that the fish observe the water is they leap out and they look down and they see and say, oh my gosh, is that what we've been swimming in all along? This work has that same effect. We study, beginning with the energy of money and then expanding beyond that. We study all the different forms of energy that we're swimming in, right? We observe them and we learn to work with them. One of the things I love the most about this work, and I realize in the way I've just been describing it in our opening few minutes, is it sounds kind of esoteric, but truly it is so very practical. When you learn the principles and the skills and the tools inherent in the energy of money, it is truly life-changing. And I know we hear that, I've been to all the workshops, you guys, and I've read all the self-help books and all of that, and they all say, oh, this will change your life. If you work with these principles and tools, it literally has the capacity to change your life. I know, because it changed mine, and it's changed the lives of so many of my students and my clients. It's made their businesses more profitable. I've had people say to me, taking this course with my spouse saved our marriage, right? It saved my business. It made my business more profitable. This is such practical work. And part of that is because of what you see on the screen in front of you. We live in a holographic universe. The smallest parts of life and matter reflect the properties of the universe as a whole. Every aspect of our lives has a reflection in every other aspect. So let me pause here for a second and just, remember what a holograph is. All right. If you remember Star Wars, right? Please, everyone, say that you've seen Star Wars. Okay. When you see the holograph of Princess Leia, that's not really Princess Leia, right? It's just a picture. It's a reflection of Princess Leia. One of the interesting things about holographs is if you shatter a holograph, right? So you have a picture that's a holograph. The picture of Princess Leia in your mind. That's a real picture in your mind. If we would shatter that holograph of Princess Leia, every little piece of that contains the whole. Right? It's like that old Rumi quote that a drop from the ocean contains the entire ocean in it. It contains all the qualities of the entire ocean. All right. So what we say in this work is how we do one thing is how we do everything. So back to our quote, every aspect of our lives has a reflection in every other aspect. So this means how we do money is how we do life. Our relationship with money is a metaphor for our relationship with all the forms of energy. And in this work, we specifically identify 6 forms of energy that we work with. And you'll notice one of the things I love about this work is we do get very specific, right? We get very clear and very specific. Any of you who have a successful business knows how important it is to get specific about your business plan, to get specific about the model you want to follow, to get specific about your goals, right? In order for us to reach our goals, we have to have specific goals and a plan. So we get very specific, okay? So the 6 forms of energy that we work with are money, time, physical vitality, that would be the relationship that we have with our bodies, the energy of enjoyment, right? This is about having fun, and just as importantly, it's about savoring each moment. None of this work is about becoming more driven or just getting through our list. It's about savoring each moment. That would be the energy of enjoyment. It's about the energy of creativity. What are we creating in our lives? I had a great call with a client several months ago where we realized that the word create and the word react have the same letters, right? Think about that. And yet they create a very different energy, right? Are we creating in our lives or are we reacting in our lives? We get very clear in this work that we want to be creative. We want to be proactively creating, not just reacting to what happens in our lives. And then finally, we work with the energy of relationship. And this is specifically the healthy, emphasis on the word healthy, the healthy giving and receiving of support in our lives. Okay, this is not about going it alone. This is not about struggling. This is not about I can do it myself, right? Even the Lone Ranger had Tonto, guys. Okay, so the energy of relationship is really about focusing on giving and receiving the energy of support. So we do start with, in our work together, the energy of money. Okay, so we're gonna play a little bit here, and this is going to help to illustrate that how we do one thing is how we do everything. Okay, so we're just gonna play here with money, because when we learn to use money energy, right? Again, we're starting with this because it's energy we can hold in our hands. Then we can use that learning, we can use those skills and those tools to use any form of energy. All right, so think about this for a moment in your minds. Do you ever feel like you have enough money? Right? No matter how much money you have, is there always that little kind of niggling voice in the back of your head that says, yeah, but it's not quite enough, right? It's just not quite enough. No matter how much I have, it's not quite enough. All right. Now ask yourself that question about the other forms of energy. How often do we complain about we just don't have enough time? We just don't have enough stamina. That would be physical energy. I'm not having any fun, right? Notice that's a demonstration of that same scarcity conversation playing, taking up bandwidth in the back of our minds, right? So when we have that, I don't ever have enough money conversation, then we get to ask ourselves, oh my gosh, well, this conversation feels familiar. Do I complain about not having enough time, stamina, or fun, enjoyment in my life? So do we ever feel like we have to hoard money to feel secure? If I just have a little bit more in savings, right? But I don't want to give. I got to hold on to it really tightly, like I'm making a fist, right? I'm holding on really tightly. Well, let's translate that to the other forms of energy. Do we ever hold back from engaging in relationship? We got to hold back. We got to hold on. Do we not volunteer our time because, I just don't have enough time and I've got to hold on to that time, right? See how we can translate these questions about money into the other forms of energy. How often do we waste our money, right? How often do we leak our money? Well, same thing. Do we waste time? Do we leak time? Do we waste our physical energy, right? Do we think, here's an interesting twist on the wasting time and money question. When we're out having fun, do we think it's a waste of time? I had a client, and I really resonated with this, that if all my hours weren't billable, they were a waste of time. Right? If I'm not making money, then I'm wasting my time, right? So what that shows is that's an imbalance in the forms of energy, right? If every waking moment has to be focused on making money, what's happening to the rest of our energies? What's happening to our relationships? What's happening to our sense of fun? What's happening to our bodies? Are we working out? Are we exercising? Are we eating right? Are we taking time to sit down and have dinner with our family? Right? These questions bring up all of this great stuff to look at and to work with. So here's a question, and I know Coach Mike Stott is on the call, and he gets such a giggle out of this one. Do you balance your checkbook to the penny every month? Right? And I love to balance my checkbook. I cannot wait to get my statement every month from the bank. In fact, even though I keep telling them, don't mail it to me, I can just get it electronically. They still mail it to me, but I already have it downloaded, printed, balanced perfectly to the penny before it ever comes in the mail. That's how eager I am to balance my checkbook. So what we're talking about here is, are we clear about our money? Right? Do we know how much money we have? Do we know where it goes? We do all of our accounting in QuickBooks. I know to the penny where every penny of our income and expenses is coming from and going to every month. For me, it's a game. It's fun. I've made it a game. Notice that's the energy of enjoyment. So let's take that same energy of clarity to our other energies. So do we have a clear picture of our finances? Clearly, that's the energy of money. Do we have a clear picture of our health? Right? Have we kept up with our checkups and our tests and our medications if we need them? Right? Are we going to the dentist? Are we getting our physicals every year? Are we clear about the state of our body? Right? Are we clear about what we're creating and the energy going into what we're creating? This is all about being clear and being precise, right? So amazing food for thought that comes out of simply asking these questions about money. And then this gets us to, obviously, how we are with money is how we are with everything, right? So we get to look at the energy that we hold, again, starting with money, and then we get to apply that to other areas of our lives. So let me give you an example from my own life. When I started recognizing that, gosh, you know what, Steph, you may have some stuff around money that you want to look at. And believe me, guys, this is ongoing. It's not like I did this in 2003 and then stopped. No, this is an ongoing process. You're constantly learning and growing and evolving. And when we know better, we get to do better. Okay, so that's what this is all about, knowing better so that we can do better. I recognized that I had what we call either or thinking around a particular money topic. And the topic was this: either we can pay off our unsecured debt, i.e. credit cards, right? This is a conversation my husband and I had several years ago, or we could contribute to our retirement accounts, right? Does that sound familiar to anyone? Either I can pay off my debt, or we can contribute to our retirement accounts or our savings accounts, or whatever account you would want to save in, your mutual fund, whatever. And I realized that either or conversation wasn't serving us, right? Because what happens if you're totally focused on paying off debt, right? What if our focus is we're paying off our debt? Well, what our brain hears there is debt. Right? We're focused on debt. It's like when you say to a child, don't touch that hot stove. Our brain doesn't hear the don't. All it hears is touch that hot stove, right? So understanding that, what we realized is that we wanted to make the shift from either or in this specific area of our lives to both and, right? So this is just one example of one of the tools that we use. We wanted to make the shift from either or thinking to both and thinking. And so we asked ourselves the question, well, how can we do both? Well, once you ask the question, gang, it becomes obvious, right? But when you're swimming around in either or, it feels like this monumental task to do both. And that's the power of shifting our thinking and shifting how we're seeing it differently, right? We once we figured out that we can go from either or to both and, it became the path became clear. It became easy to set up a plan where we were concurrently paying down our debt and increasing our savings. So then what we got to look at was, where else in our lives, in what other forms of the 6 forms of energy, were we dancing with either or? And it became a very powerful question. I specifically got to look at the energy of physical vitality, right? And so I had this thing where I had to get a good night's sleep. At the time, I still had children at home. And so I could either get a good night's sleep or I could get up earlier in the morning and work out, right? So, that either or conversation effectively let me off the hook from getting up and working out, right? But when I thought, oh gosh, well, the both and shift work for the energy of money, I wonder if the both and shift would work toward the energy of physical vitality. And sure enough, as soon as I entertained the question of how could I get a good night's sleep and get a workout, right? Because that was very important as a young mother, to get a workout and be in good shape, right? The way became clear. Once I asked the question and entertained the shift, the way became clear. So this is why we start with the energy of money, and we use that as the springboard to working with all the different forms of energy. And we do that within the context of what we call the playing field. Now, the playing field needs almost a whole hour into itself to fully understand the power and the ramifications of it. But I want to give you a taste of this, because I've had so many students and clients say to me that this one metaphor, this one element of the energy of money was a total game changer for them. right? Just understanding the playing field was a huge game changer for them. So in a nutshell, what we recognize in the energy of money in that world is that we live in two different realities. And I am going to go through this quickly again, because this bears a lot more exploration, but I want you to have a taste of the power of it. Those two realities are visionary reality, right? That's the reality where our energy is very high, our hopes, our dreams, our expectations, our visions, our ideas, all that juicy, creative, wonderful, high energy lives in visionary reality. And when I say we're swimming in energy, this is what I'm talking about. We're swimming in visionary reality, okay? And we also live in what we call physical reality. And physical reality is where we live and breathe, and where we can gain and lose weight, and where we can make and lose money, and where we pay mortgages, and where we have kids and spouses, you know, and we go to work in the morning, and we have to drive in traffic. That's physical reality. It's visionary reality with skin on, right? It's that high energy of physical, of visionary reality made dense, okay? So what we recognize is that in between that very high energy of visionary reality and the much denser energy of physical reality is there's a metaphorical border. Obviously, this is a metaphor. You know, we don't walk around with this black line appearing before our eyes. That border represents what happens when that extremely high, creative, excited, dreamy, visionary energy of visionary reality hits that dense energy of physical reality. And it's that experience. People say to me, you know, Steph, you say the border is a metaphor, but gosh, sometimes when you hit it, it really feels real, right? It can literally feel like hitting a wall, right? I have a great idea. In fact, if you want to tune into the energy of visionary reality, just think about it. Take a minute and think about when was the last time you had a really great idea, right? What was the energy of that idea? Just take a second and tap into that energy, right? What was it? What did it feel like? You know, for me, it's that energy. It's that energy that wakes me up at 4 o'clock in the morning, right? That, oh God, this is such a great idea, right? Or that keeps me from falling asleep at night. This is such a great idea, right? When we start to bring that great idea into physical reality, and you'll see the little star up here, the goal, the way we bring those ideas into physical reality is to create goals out of them. When we start to bring that idea and we hit that border, what happens at that border is it's that we slow down. The border slows us down, because that energy that we're moving into is no longer limitless and, you know, full of possibility. All of a sudden, it's full of details and deadlines and staffing needs, right? And printers that don't work, right? So when we hit that border, if we don't have an understanding of how this works, we hit that border and we think, oh, wait a minute, this just got hard. I must be doing something wrong. Maybe I'm not supposed to do this, right? See that red squiggly line on your screen? That's what we call trouble at the border, okay? And one of the wonderful things about learning how the playing field works, i.e. how life works, is that we learn that trouble at the border is normal. It's normal. It happens whenever we try to bring an idea into physical reality. And trouble at the border manifests as what we call monkey mind. See the monkey with the banana? If you're a current coaching client, you are very, very familiar with monkey mind. One of the things we do in this work is we quantify monkey mind, All right. We actually, Maria, in her brilliance, actually quantified specific monkey mind symptoms. In other words, specifically, how does monkey mind show up in our lives and stop us at that darn border, right? When we don't understand that monkey mind and trouble at the border are normal, right? That's when it stops us. And what this work helps us to do with the various principles and tools and skill building is learn how to cross that border in spite of the monkey mind. The monkey mind will never go away, guys. It's a function of our brain, right? We will always have monkey mind. But this work is about developing the skill set and the capacity to navigate monkey mind and keep going so that we accomplish our goals with clarity, focus, ease, and grace. I'll talk more about that in a minute. Because here's the thing. Anybody can accomplish their goals kicking and screaming and making it hard and being dragged across that border. We're all really good at that. This work is about learning how to get across that border gracefully and with ease. Now, ease is not the absence of work, right? In physical reality, in order for anything to happen, we have to work, right? We have to expend energy, right? But this work is about learning how to expend that energy gracefully and with ease, and dare I say, to even enjoy it. All right. So that is a very brief overview of the playing field, and it's a huge part of what we do together in this work. The other thing we're going to look at is seeing ourselves as conduits of energy. All right. Really seeing it. Remember I said that we swim in energy, right? Well, we are energy, right? There's a cute meme I've seen on Facebook that I'm going to quote badly, but it basically talks about how we are energy until that slows down, and then we're matter, right? Well, we are basically just like money, right? We are energy that has slowed way down and become matter. We've become dense. And I mean that in the nicest way, right? So when we recognize ourselves in that way, as energy that has slowed way down and become dense, then we can see ourselves as literally conduits of energy. And so what we look at is, where am I leaking energy? Where do I have sludge? Like if we're a pipe, right? Think of yourselves as a pipe. Where is my energy being blocked? Where do I have leaks? Where do I have sludge? Where do I have blockages in my conduit of energy? Because remember, we're swimming in energy. It's all sorts of energy available to us. Our job is to make our conduit so clean and clear that energy can flow freely through us and help us fulfill our goals and dreams much more quickly and much more easily. All right, so we work a lot on how can I let this infinite flow of energy come through me, all 6 forms of energy. You know, like I said, I've said repeatedly, we start with money, but we look at all 6 forms of energy in this course. So if you decide to take the 6-week webinar, everything that I just talked about in this very brief time together, we will go into in much greater detail. All right, we will really look at what's in your heart. What are you being called to do? You may already be doing what you love to do, in which case, as was I. What this work helped me to do was to do it better, to do it with more clarity, to do it with more grace, to do it with more joy. I want to help you focus your money energy and all the energy available to you, not just for you, but so that you can help your clients. You learn so many tools in this work, right? That once you master them and start practicing them, then you can help your clients. So for instance, you know, when we talk about crossing the border with ease, once you learn how to do that, once you learn how to recognize your monkey mind and give it a banana, you can help your clients do that. So would that interest you at a listing presentation to learn how to recognize your seller's monkey mind so that you can help them shift. If you're at the settlement table and all of a sudden a monkey wrench, no pun intended, gets thrown into the meeting and everybody's freaking out, would you like to be the person at that table who is the voice of calm and reason, who is the voice of all is well, because you've learned how to master crossing the border, right? You've learned how to get across the border. We're also going to look at releasing what no longer serves us, how to clean up unfinished business. Unfinished business causes so much sludge and leaks in our pipes. And then all of this leads toward the joy of giving and receiving authentic support so that we can create the life of our dreams and help the people we love and serve to do the same. So we're coming kind of full circle, because what I've been talking about really through this entire call is based on our definition. This is Maria's definition of success and what it means to lead a successful life. And that is this: success is doing what you said you would do consistently with clarity, focus, ease, and grace. Right? Notice that there's no struggle, angst, or suffering in that definition of success, right? Success is doing what you said you would do consistently with clarity, focus, ease, and grace. So breaking this down, and you'll see this definition helps to tie everything together that we've just very briefly looked at. Clarity, we get clear about who we are, we get clear about what's most important to us, and we get exquisitely clear about what we want to do about it. All right? Focus is learning how to focus those 6 forms of energy, how to keep our conduit of energy clean and clear and flowing so that we are successful beyond our wildest dreams. Ease is learning how to cross the border with ease, right? Not with struggle, not with angst, just crossing that border with ease. And we learn how to do this. This is very practical, chock full of tools and skills of how to cross that border with ease. And again, once you learn how to do that, then you can help other people do that. Wouldn't it be great if you were the professional in your market who everybody turned to because they make it look so easy? You know, I have such a sense of all is well when I'm with this person. Boy, I love working with this realtor, broker, lender, fill in the blank, because they just have a way of helping me accomplish my goals with such ease and grace. Wouldn't you love to be the person that's described in that way? These tools help you to do that. And then finally, clarity, focus, ease, and grace. Grace is that capacity to become grateful for everything on our journey, and to become grateful for everyone on our journey, regardless of what it looks like, smells like, sounds like. Right? We develop that capacity to say yes to what's happening to us on our journey and to what we're creating on our journey. To be grateful for who we're traveling on that journey with. Right? Success is doing what you said you would do consistently with clarity, focus, ease, and grace. That's what you get out of the energy of money. And that's what we mean when we say it is not just about money. It is about living an amazing life of clarity and joy and contribution, and really developing the skills and the capacity to make a true difference in your life and the lives of those that you share. So I'm going to unmute all, and hopefully if you're in a noisy place, if you could mute yourself, that would be great. In case there are any questions, you are now unmuted. So again, if there's background noise, please take it upon yourself to mute yourself. And if you have any questions, I would love to entertain them in the few minutes we have left. All right. So the final slide gives you some details. If you are interested in what I briefly shared today, if you would like to learn more about it, I will be presenting this webinar at this time. It'll be noon Eastern time starting next Wednesday. Those webinars will be a full hour. So what I ask that people get on a few minutes early because there's just a ton of information to share with you. And oh, I'm going to hit mute here. There's just so much information to share with you. And on those webinars, the weekly meetings, I do encourage a lot of participation. And so sometimes that can add onto our time together. So I do request that if you sign up for this, please make it a priority. Right? How we do one thing is how we do everything. So this is a wonderful opportunity to show up in this class, in this course, as how you want to show up in your life. All right. So if you have any questions about anything I covered today, if you have any questions about the course, I would love to talk with you about it. You have my email from the registration. Please feel free to email me, and if you need a brief phone call, if you have any questions or you need clarity on what we'll be covering or anything that I covered today. Donna just typed into the chat, it's to sign up for the course, it's ycmbookclub.com. And you also do have my email that I believe Denise sent out in the invitation and with your registration. I would love to talk to you about this. Obviously, I'm very passionate about this work. This work truly did change my life. Oh, thanks, Donna. And there's my Your Coaching Matters email, stephanie.tsai@yourcoachingmatters.com. It is my joy to share this with you and to support you in living lives of joy and satisfaction and contribution. So thanks so much, guys. I'm gonna hop off and actually get on a coaching call. So thank you so much for attending today. I just loved sharing this information with you. And again, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask. All right. Have a great day, guys.
Thanks, Steph. Have a great day.
Thanks.